This is We Are Trying, the Playful Parenting Podcast. Welcome, everybody, to We Are Trying, the Playful Parenting Podcast. For all of you guys watching on YouTube, I am Dan the Tomato Keeper, and with me is Miss Amy Dunton. We are here to wade through the trials, tribulations, and triumphs that come with the ever-changing life of parenting. If you are listening to us on one of the lovely podcasting apps, I went to a theme park with my kids today. Unbeknownst to me, I actually wore a red shirt, and my face matches said red shirt. Thank you, the sun. How are you today, Amy? You look not burnt.
All things considered, I think I'm doing better than you might be, Dan.
Yeah. It's fine. My face just stings a little bit when I move it.
No problem.
No.
Work through it.
It's great. Yeah, no, it's fun leaving, and Leo, my son, he's like touching his face. He's like, "This is itchy." I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna end well. That's gonna be great. Super looking forward to that. Covered him in aloe." But yeah, we're not here to talk about sunburns and the funs that come with that. We'll definitely have a beach dedicated episode down the road. I know I'm a fan. We're going to touch on that a little bit today, but today we are talking about the simple things, the things that were simple, things that you thought would remain simple. And then you had kids, things like going to the beach, going to the bathroom, brushing hair, shower, going to the movies, grocery shopping, getting dressed, seeing friends that are single, weddings, eating out, relaxing, sleeping in, everything that was good in life has now changed. That was just to name a few. The list goes on. I'm sure that many of you guys feel the same way. But Amy, life changes pretty drastically once kids are in the picture. Things that were simple became this new game that you had to figure out. It's like everything changed. Like, again, my brain always goes back to going to the bathroom when it was a simple thing, my kids are finally like to the age where I'm like, you stop this. But it was just like, you go to the bathroom, and now also going to the bathroom takes 5 times longer simply because you're like, give me peace, give me quiet. And it doesn't work because they're just going to barge on the door or just sit by, like, next to the door, like banging on it. Mommy, Daddy, are you pooping?
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
Hey. It stinks. I'm like, thanks. You guys are great. Fantastic.
If it's a game, then it's a game you maybe didn't really want to play. It's something where it's like, oh, I guess it's your turn to choose the game, and I have no choice. So this once 3-step task now has 58 steps, most of which leave me wanting to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
Just in a nutshell, that's what life becomes.
Yeah, no, it's insane. It's insane. But like going to the bathroom, the whole nighttime process or daytime process, you're just getting ready. It became taxing, exponentially longer. One of the crazier things, just brushing kids' hair, because you don't think about it until you're in the middle of it. But you're you are teaching these kids every fundamental element that comes with life. It's like, hey, I've been doing this for years. This is part of my routine. These are the easy things. Well, to them, it's like, oh, this is new. Can I do it this way? Can I do it this way? What if I do this? What if I don't do this? And then I'm over here. I'm like, just brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Brush it. Just side to side, up and down. Brush your teeth.
Yeah.
But what if I rub it on my face? I'm like, no.
Or is it a game? Can I put it under the water and then splash it around? Is it also possible for me to put the toothpaste on my toothbrush and just smear it in the sink? Can I do that game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was cleaning their little hand towels in the bathroom. And Delilah, I didn't even know when or how this happened, but she had like this ball of dried toothpaste just in the middle of her towel. Like, how and when did this happen?
Yeah. Yeah, it should be a whole separate episode called "How Did That Get There?" Because I don't know, like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem logical if you follow the steps that it would be there. I sometimes, even now, with my 15-year-old, go into that bathroom and I'm like, what exactly went down in here? Like, you're just going from the toothpaste to the brush, right? Just should be in that general vicinity.
Now, if only it could turn into like some kind of film noir episode where just like everything turns black and white. Amy walks into a room. It smelled of burnt toothpaste. There was hair across the floor. There was a shimmering light in the right corner, and I couldn't put my finger on it where exactly that came from, but I knew something happened. Isaac walked in. He sat down. He looked at me with those doe eyes that he always has. And he said, "Hey, Mom," as if nothing was wrong. But I knew something happened.
And then it cuts to Psycho.
Yeah. Side note, the new parenting film noir show will be coming out in just a few months. Yeah, I thought that.
Subtle, Dan. Way to go.
Little plug in there.
Little plug there.
That I'll now have to figure out how the heck to do a parenting film noir show.
I think we got it, honestly.
I mean, sure, why not? Let's make it happen. Right, the topic, the simple things, like having a podcast, the simple things. So one thing, Amy, you had mentioned to me to make sure that was on the list was taking a shower. So this honestly isn't as big of an issue for Keegan and I. We take turns, and we're like, okay, somebody is barricading the kids, like, hey, you're gonna do this while mommy's in the shower. You don't go in.
Right.
Just don't go in. A little buffer area. How is that process for you? Slightly different?
It was a little different. Because during the time that I was married, my partner was gone most of the time. So I still was left with the challenge of taking a shower without leaving two children abandoned somewhere in the home. And then it becomes kind of that, like that math problem where you all have to get across the river, but you can't leave the goat with the chicken, something like that.
That old math problem.
Whatever.
Can't leave the goat with the chicken, Amy.
Yeah, I can definitely remember many showers where I had the little bouncy seat in the bathroom with me, and I'd just be like, hey, just a couple more minutes. And I mean, you take at that point just what I would call like military showers. They're about 64 seconds long, and you're in, you're out. That's it, and that's your relaxing time of the day.
I mean, relaxing in general, just with kids, just goes out the door, right?
Oh yeah,
because again, we talked about this a little bit on our TV episode, or electronics episode, I think 2 weeks ago on episode 3. I really need to have like a list of these episodes out. I'm going to get really lost as we dive more into this. But I mean, we have the new, like, hey, throw a movie on, throw this on. But even then, I mean, so we get home to the theme park today. And for those of you who don't know, bless your hearts, what a sunburn does to you kind of kicks your butt a little bit. So here we are, we get home, we still know we need to make dinner, and we're like, all right, let's just throw a movie on. Next thing I know, Leo has one of his chairs from like a coloring table. He's sitting upside down on that, about to fall onto his head. Delilah's somewhere. That I realize she's under the blanket hiding to scare Leo when he finally gets his head up off the ground. I'm like, I'm so glad you guys are watching this movie. Fantastic. Definitely able to relax. I'm laying down on the couch, and all of a sudden just knees. So many knees just jump on top of me. Yeah.
Good times.
Relaxing doesn't exist.
No, it was much more of a risk for me to leave them both out in the same space together, because even though there'd be other moments where they were perfectly fine for a good stint of time just
Mhm.
watching TV or playing a game. As soon as they're aware that I am not within view, it's sort of like, hey, now's a great time for me to see if I can swing you on the ceiling fan or stick you to the wall. Can you fit in that cabinet? And what happens if we take all the pans out of the oven and just like spread them around the house? Just typical things.
On that
I'm
note,
sure
remind me to
everyone
send you a
is.
photo. I do have a picture of Delilah fit in a cabinet.
Oh my God.
It's cool because it's a sliding cabinet too.
Oh.
So like Leo was super excited. He's like, hey, I want to show you something. I was like, okay, what is it? And he just like slowly slides with the big grin. And Delilah's just like, hi.
Like Jurassic Park style.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I definitely need to see that photo.
You got it. So I mean that's even just like staying in your house. I mean,
yeah,
I'd say things really hit the fan as soon as you start to try and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Because it becomes, if my wife and I are going somewhere, it's like, okay, you got your keys, you got your phone, wallet, cool, let's leave.
Mm-hmm.
The younger kids are like, I mean, it used to be like, all right, cool. You got the pack and play. You got this, you got that, you got that. You got 5,000 things. I mean, I got a van and the whole thing was stuffed and we're going away for like 5 hours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, why do we need all of these things? Do you have like the bottles? You have the bottle cleaner? Do you have everything was used? Yeah. And if it wasn't used, it was there for a reason. We still have coloring books in our like to-go bag. We used it today. We were waiting in line. The kids weren't having it. So Keegan took them to the side. Hey, we're going to color here. Well, daddy waits in line by himself in the sun. It was fun. Everybody loved it.
From the looks of it, that happened a lot.
Yeah. It was the Seven Seas Food Festival. Lines were long. Food was delicious. And we thought that there was an ice cream booth, but instead it was cheesecake. Not disappointed, but I was confused because it was not nearly as cold and creamy as I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's a bit of a letdown there, I think.
But I do love cheesecake.
There you go.
We'll take that win. But yeah, going out. So, I mean, this is anything from like, visiting friends that are single, going to weddings, just going to a restaurant, Granted, this is the time of COVID. I don't think people actually still go out to eat nearly as much. But yeah, no, it's such a process. And you wouldn't think that like anywhere from what's on the kids' menu? What are they going to eat? Should I bring food? Should I bring something to entertain them? What if it takes longer than we expect? Are there chips? Do we do appetizers? Are they going to spill their cup 5,000 times? Do we just bring our cups and fill the waters there? Yeah.
Yeah. And spare clothes. You always want to have spare clothes because you never know what's going to happen 5 minutes into the dinner that took you 2.5 hours to get to. And for the listeners out there who don't recall that Dan and I currently live in different climates, add to that snow pants and 8 layers of clothing that you have to put on children before even going outside.
Yeah. So Amy, walk me through that process because changing by itself is a crazy, push sometimes.
Yeah.
We get Leo in a soccer uniform, Delilah in her dance uniform. That's like, it is what it is. But I live in Florida. The sun is out. We have 1 week of winter, and that 1 week of winter is as cold as 40 degrees. So, we don't really do snow. We panic when there's ice, but beyond that, we're usually fine. Amy, cold weather, going out with the kiddos. What is the time difference between like normal heat and then snow days?
Right. Okay. So I'm going to just give a rough estimate of 6 hours. It's a 6-hour difference. If we're going out in the summer, we can pretty much just throw on some shorts. All right. For anyone who's still listening, it's not quite 6 hours, but it is a long time. And here's why. So first you gather up the items you need. You need boots, you need 2 mittens, you need a scarf, you need a hat, you need the snow pants, sometimes just the half snow pants, sometimes the full bib. Usually you can find the mittens stuffed inside the sleeves of these items, but most often after the children have worn them, they are strewn across the yard, usually stuck on a snowman, maybe buried in a snowbank. So you have to hunt them down. And then at that point, you can't actually put them on because they're frozen anyway. So then you have to find new mittens, and they most likely don't fit. So they've got 2 left mittens on, and you just kind of go with it because you really want to go out because you've been cooped up inside and you just lose your mind. So that's one kid. And that's 45 minutes. And then you round up the other kid, and by then the first kid is boiling hot because he's standing there in all of this attire, and he's crying and he's throwing his stuff off like, and you just chuck him outside and be like, we'll be out in a minute. And, and then you get judged by neighbors, and it just all is like, that's when you're like, we didn't really need to go anywhere. Back inside, kids. That's a rough overview for you, Dan.
That's just your standard day.
Yeah,
some days are better.
That's actually just getting the mail. That's just going to get the mail. So if you were actually headed out somewhere, there'd be a whole other set.
Yeah, because that didn't even involve the things you need for the trip.
No.
Once you get there, enough for the trip back. Like that was just literally transit from the house to the car.
Yeah, and really I can't even say that it's to the car, because when you take into account the Maine weather, what starts off as a toddler has now become a young child by the time you actually are putting them in the same car seat, because they look like the Michelin Man, and you can't actually get the belts around without resizing it all. And then, and those are always so easy to adjust.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta like slide your fingers into the button mechanism, push down the button mechanism and pull, and that only gets one strap, and then you gotta hope that the other strap comes with it. Once that's done, then you hook, clip, tighten. God forbid you tighten too hard for their safety. Yeah, because that is a fun noise. It's called screaming.
No, and I think people picture, you're just putting in like a doll, like a stationary item, but it's really more like you're trying to strap in a squid or something.
Especially if they don't want to be strapped in.
Oh, exactly. And who wants to be strapped in that scenario?
Leo's been good with it, but like Delilah, even the other day, because 3s, 4s, tantrum times, it's always fun. And I was literally like just forcing her in. I'm like, all right, this leg first. And I'm just tighten this and then duct tape this arm down because that one's done. So I can straighten this piece. And Leo's just sitting next to her smiling and be like, hey, I did good. Like, shut up, Leo. You were worse than she was when you were younger.
But then, of course, it goes to the other end of the spectrum with the warm weather. Because they're so hot and uncomfortable. I can remember being what I will call parent shamed one time when I was taking Jackson to the babysitter, and it was so hot, and he didn't have a shirt on. He just had like comfy pants. And I can remember being like, here he is. And she was just like, why isn't he dressed? I'm like, because it's 1,000 degrees and anything that touches his skin makes him uncomfortable and scream.
Yeah. So I coach soccer for like 5 and 6 year olds. And there was one day, it was like a week or two ago. And it was, I think it was the first time in a couple months that it was back up to 90s, so it was a 90-degree, sun's out. And these kids just kept coming up to me like, my jersey's sticking to me. I'm like, yeah, it's called sweat. And they're like, yeah, I'm sweating a lot. I don't think I should play. I'm like, well, you know what? I can't have you all sitting out. So you're going to deal with it. Can I take this off? No, you can't take that off. It's like, what if I flip it inside out? I'm like, it's a reversible jersey. It's literally the exact same thing on the other side. No. I don't hear them complaining. I'm like, yeah, but it's because you're not close enough to them. They would be saying the exact same things you are because children are beautiful bandwagon fans. But yeah, I had to come up with a lot of things. Luckily, I had my handy dandy tool belt around to deal with them
There
and
you
knew what to say because
go.
I'd been there. I'd practiced it. I was
Yeah.
one of those kids at one point in time myself, played a lot of soccer.
Oh,
But that does lead us to our next segment. What's in your tool belt?
oh my gosh. It's easier probably to say what's not on your tool belt at this point because you have to be prepared with so much. You have to be prepared for every scenario. What if they get tired? What if they get cranky? What if they don't want to eat where we're eating or go? It's just like coloring books, games,
coloring books, chef's kiss. They are the best.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to start this off because there is something that's very near and dear to my heart. This is something that I just want to get out there for all you dads out there. I'm saying this for dads because well, women, you're going to understand this. You're probably going to nod, shake your head and be like, wow, this guy's an idiot. I can't believe they let him have kids. But my daughter, actually, let me preface this. Like, I have short hair. I've always had short hair. My wife has like pin straight hair, like very thin, very straight hair. My daughter has the thickest, curliest hair, and it gets tangled so easily. and so I'm over here like, all right, let's brush your hair, Delilah. And I take like a brush and I'm just like just start brushing. It's hard for me to even like imagine a time of me brushing her hair where she doesn't say ow. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's normal. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, you get a wet brush, get a wavy brush. This brand is good. Make sure you got that. It's got to be wet. Here's some product over here that you spray this product even when it's dry and it'll keep it untangled. I'm just like,
never start from the top.
I learned that one. That one. You got to start from the bottom, work your way back up. Do it in sections.
Yes.
Ponytails are my friend.
Yeah.
Because then I can just like, I'm only gonna brush this part. Everything else is gonna be one giant rat's nest one day. But you know what? This part looks beautiful. But yeah, no, there's so many things that you need to learn when it comes to just brushing somebody's hair, and that's that was a simple thing for me. I was like, what do you mean it's going to be a process? You just
were you successful in hanging on to the hair ties? Because that's always a whole new world.
No. Thank you for bringing that up. That was one of my beautiful failures of life. I actually I have hair ties everywhere. I have them on my keychains, in my pockets. I'll find them randomly throughout the house. I have them in my bathroom sink, in her bathroom sink, in my son's bathroom sink. Just like they are everywhere. Got like a pack of 99 of them. No joke. Just to like, because like you lose them, you use them, and then it's just like you need them because she's even gotten this like natural habit of like, and she holds it weird too. She'll like, for those of you on YouTube, you'll see this. Everybody else, I'm just like awkwardly rubbing my face. So you're probably fine without seeing this. But she holds her hair so awkwardly like this. So it's out of her face. And the craziest thing, we were at the zoo and another little girl her height walking around next to her with the same awkward hand pose. I'm just like,
hilarious.
Is that comfortable? Is that a thing? But yeah,
a thing.
Men in the world, please look up. These are specific brushes. They're called wet brushes. Start from the bottom, and hair ties are your friends. Moving on, because we have a couple other subjects we want to talk about of what's in your tool belt. Amy talked about a little bit about going out. This isn't necessarily, a cold weather thing, but the antithesis of this, because this is a journey of itself. Going to the beach.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that is no easy task either. And I think that's maybe to do with just the amount of gear. The amount of gear needed to bring small children, especially to the beach, the toys, the porta crib, the obviously sun umbrella, sunscreen, towels, and then you actually have to bring your children as well. I mean, I was definitely late in the game to have the wagon
The wagon, I was gonna say, you need to have a wagon.
Yeah, you have no business going to the beach without a wagon if you have children. I don't know what you're thinking. It's a bad idea. I have had the experience and have the picture to prove it of packing my children up, going to the beach, getting such a late start that we did not arrive at the beach until almost 3.
Oh, man.
At which point we packed up from the beach around 3:48 and went home because I was like, well, that was the dumbest thing I've ever attempted in my life. Yeah. And there's no like sitting in the lawn chair, which you also have to bring a lawn chair.
Of course.
There's no sitting in a lawn chair relaxing at the beach. No, it's you're on the go, you're in the water, you're watching the water. Are they eating the sand? Which of course they're going to be eating the sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
The wagon is a game changer. So we definitely have a wagon. We contemplated 2. Because the wagon is such a huge game changer. Now, I am, and this, I'll jump before this, but like, my parents do have a condo right by the beach. So I have the added benefit of being able to house and store a handful of things there. Now, here's my recommendation. Pay to park. Do not try and be a smartass and be like, you know what? I don't need to pay here. I'm going to park over there where it's free. Screw that. No, park as close as you can. Have a point of contact. So that way it's like, you know what? I'm going to leave the clothes here. I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to leave this here. These will stay in a confined space where I know things are safe. And then you're going to take what you need to the beach. And if you need to run and get something, guess what? It is right there. Don't try and beat the system. Be a part of the system. Pay to play. It will save your day. That rhymed. Definitely not on purpose, but I will take it. No, but seriously, like park as close as you can and use a wagon. Those are the 2 biggest things that I can ever recommend because the wagon, we don't need the porta crib. We don't need a handful of things. But the wagon is still a game changer to this day. Being able to carry things, being able to carry things for you. No, I mean, a cooler. What else do you need than an excuse to not have to carry things?
No, No, you've got to do it. And if you do try to beat the system, have that be like that you're willing to pay the $150 fine for parking on the beach itself. Like that's where you like negotiate. I think it's worth it. I think if somebody comes up, I'll just be like, yeah, here you go, man.
Just hey, whatever the fine is, I'm
worth it.
Man, there are some beaches where you can park on the beaches. I think there's still a thing. I haven't been to them in a while.
Yeah, I think they were created by parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
I'm sorry. I can either park away from the beach or just drive on it.
Yeah, no, just drive right on. Just drive right on.
Yeah. Yeah. You find a parking spot. Yeah, that's where we're gonna set up camp. Yeah. No, I mean that's a huge game changer. But I mean it's again one of those simple things. When you're younger, it's just like, hey, I'm gonna go to the beach. Got my swimsuit on. Got a 6-pack of beer. Not like definitely I don't have a 6-pack. But then because of the beer, and then you just go, go, you have fun, and then you leave feeling drained and sunburned, but it was worth it.
I mean, if we haven't terrified every parent out there from leaving the house with their children, the tool belt is valid because when you do have those tools in place, it's not as bad. You get into a rhythm, you leave extra time. You have those things and then it's a little easier.
And our recommendation, anytime you run into a wall, anytime you run into an issue or a complication, build a tool belt because those are what's going to save your life down the road.
Think outside the box on that, it's amazing.
But I mean, that's it today for the simple things. Hope you guys learned a thing or two. If not, that's fine. I'm glad you listened to the end anyways. Next time we're going to be talking about how smart kids are the worst. We got plenty of stories on that. We guys will talk to you guys soon. Take care, everyone.
See you guys.